Sometimes, my brothers and sisters, life doesn't go the way we plan. You pray, you try, you hope, and yet things keep breaking apart. Doors close, hearts break, friends disappear, plans collapse, and you begin to wonder, why is this happening to me? But what if I told you that very chaos you're trying to escape is the evidence that Allah is preparing you for something greater? You see, when Allah wants to elevate you, He doesn't announce it with a trumpet. He begins by shaking your comfort. He takes you out of what's familiar to prepare you for what's divine. Sometimes the delay, the loss, the heartbreak, it's not rejection, it's redirection. It's Allah saying, you are destined for more, but first I must prepare you. When life seems to move slower than you expected, when every dream you prayed for feels just out of reach, and when the timeline you imagined begins to crumble before your eyes, remember this. Delays are not denials, they are divine training. What you call a delay, Allah calls preparation. He is not holding you back, He is building you up. Every time something takes longer than you wanted, it means Allah is teaching you something deeper than you imagined. Sometimes you think you are ready for the next stage of your life, but Allah knows you're not yet equipped for it. He sees the challenges ahead, the responsibilities you cannot yet carry, the storms you don't yet have the strength to withstand. So, instead of giving you the blessing immediately, He allows a pause, a sacred period of patience where your heart is refined, your faith deepened, and your character shaped. When Prophet Yusuf A.S. was thrown into the well, when he was sold as a slave, and when he sat in prison for years, those were not wasted moments. Each moment was divine training. Allah was preparing him for leadership, polishing his patience, and teaching him trust in the unseen. If Yusuf A.S. had rushed the process, he would never have been ready to manage the kingdom. But Allah knew every delay was a step toward his destiny. So if your plans are delayed, don't lose hope. Allah might be keeping you in the waiting room because the blessing you're asking for is too heavy for who you are right now, but it will fit perfectly for who you're becoming. You are not being punished, you are being prepared. Delays develop resilience, humility, and dependence on Allah alone. Sometimes the most powerful growth happens in silence, in seasons where nothing seems to move. That silence is not empty, it's filled with divine activity. Angels are moving, your doors are being written, and your heart is being molded. The delay is where Allah teaches you that His timing is always perfect, even when it's painful. So the next time you face a delay, whisper, Ya Allah, I know this pause has purpose. Because behind every delay there is divine design, and Allah never delays without wisdom. When your life feels heavy with trials, when one difficulty follows another, and when you begin to wonder why things keep getting harder instead of easier, pause and remind yourself that increased tests mean increased trust. Allah does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear, and when He allows your tests to grow, it's a sign that He sees strength in you that even you may not recognize. Your pain is not proof of His absence, it's proof of His attention. He is shaping you through every hardship, polishing your heart through every tear, and preparing you through every struggle. Tests are not punishments, they are pathways to elevation. The prophets, the most beloved of Allah, faced the greatest trials not because Allah disliked them, but because He trusted them to carry His message through hardship. Prophet Ayyub A.S. lost his health, his wealth, and his family, yet he remained patient. Prophet Yusuf A.S. was betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, and imprisoned, yet he held firm in faith. Prophet Muhammad Leteref DFA faced loss, mockery, and persecution, yet he never gave up. Their pain was their preparation. Their tests were their training for the immense trust Allah placed upon them. When Allah increases your tests, He is inviting you to a closer relationship with Him. Every hardship becomes a means to strengthen your dua, to cleanse your heart, and to detach you from what is temporary. The more you are tested, the more you are reminded that nothing in this world is permanent except your connection to Allah. In those moments when you feel weak, He is teaching you where true strength lies, not in yourself, but in your reliance upon Him. Sometimes Allah allows you to be broken so He can rebuild you stronger. He removes your supports so you can lean only on Him. The people you expected to help may walk away, the things you trusted may fail, and that's exactly where Allah's trust in you begins to show. He trusts you to keep walking, to keep believing, to keep saying Alhamdulillah, even when you don't understand. So, when your tests increase, lift your gaze and whisper, Ya Allah, I know you trust me with this test. Because the size of your struggle is often the measure of the greatness He is preparing you for. There are moments in life when you suddenly find yourself alone. The people who once supported you begin to drift away. The friends who once understood you no longer seem to connect. The world that once felt full of noise now feels painfully silent. And in that silence, you begin to question everything. Why am I being left behind? Why is everyone moving on while I feel stuck? But what you may not realize is that this loneliness isn't abandonment, it's alignment. Allah isolates you before He elevates you. When Allah wants to prepare you for a greater purpose, He first pulls you away from distractions. He separates you from the crowd so you can hear His voice clearly. In the noise of life, it's easy to lose your direction, but in isolation, your soul begins to remember its source. The same way a seed must be buried in darkness before it grows. Your soul must go through a season of isolation before it blossoms into its divine purpose. Look at the lives of the prophets. Before Musa A.S. spoke to Pharaoh, he spent years in the quiet of Madian, learning patience and humility. Before the prophet Muhammad FDFA was sent to guide humanity, he would retreat to the cave of Hira alone in silence away from the world. It was there, in the stillness, that revelation descended. Every period of isolation carried the whisper of preparation. Allah was saying, I am building you in private so I can use you in public. So when you find yourself alone, misunderstood, or forgotten, know that this is not a punishment. It's protection. Allah is shielding you from certain people, removing unnecessary attachments, and refining your intentions. He is teaching you to depend solely on Him, not on friends, not on validation, not on applause. Because when your success comes, it must be pure. In isolation, you rediscover your inner strength. You learn to sit with your thoughts, to listen to your heart, to reconnect with your Creator. The silence that once scared you becomes sacred. You realize that solitude with Allah is not loneliness, it's intimacy. Every prophet, every believer chosen for greatness, walked through the valley of isolation before reaching their mountain of purpose. So, embrace it, because that hidden season is where Allah prepares you for the elevation no one else can see yet. There are times in life when you knock on a door with all your heart. You plan, you pray, you put in effort, yet it refuses to open. You try again and again, but somehow it remains closed. And you begin to wonder, why is Allah not answering me? Why does everything I want seem to slip away? But what we often fail to see in those moments is that Allah's no is never a rejection, it's a redirection. When a door closes, it's not because Allah wants to hurt you. It's because He wants to guide you towards something far better, something your limited vision cannot yet comprehend. Sometimes we become so attached to our own plans that we forget who the real planner is. We think we know what's best for us, but Allah knows what's perfect for us. You might be asking for a job, a relationship, or an opportunity, but Allah sees the unseen. He knows what lies behind that door. Perhaps there is harm, heartbreak, or loss waiting on the other side, and because He loves you, He closes it. His protection often feels like disappointment at first, but it's mercy in disguise. Look back at your life. Think of the times you cried over what you lost, and how, later, you said, Alhamdulillah, it didn't work out. That's not coincidence, that's divine precision. The job you didn't get made space for something better. The person who left created room for peace you didn't know you needed. Every closed door shaped you, strengthened you, and steered you closer to your true purpose. When Allah redirects you, it's because He's preparing a path that aligns with your growth and your destiny. You might not understand it now, but one day you'll look back and realize that His plan was never late. It was always right on time. Every door that closes is Allah whispering, "Trust me, my servant, I have written something better." So, when things don't go your way, don't despair. Don't chase what Allah has removed. Instead, raise your hands and say, "Ya Allah, guide me to what pleases you." Because behind every closed door, there is a divine redirection that leads to peace, wisdom, and blessings far beyond what you ever prayed for. There comes a time in every believer's life when the things that once brought peace no longer do. The environment that once felt comfortable suddenly feels heavy. The conversations that once excited you now drain your spirit. You begin to feel unsettled, unsure, and disconnected from the life you used to enjoy. That uneasiness in your heart, that spiritual restlessness, is not a sign that you've lost your way. It's a sign that Allah is shifting you towards something greater. He is awakening your soul to a new level of purpose. When Allah wants to elevate you, He first makes you restless where you are. You may not understand it, but that discomfort is divine communication. It's Allah's gentle way of saying, "This chapter is ending, I am preparing you for the next." The same way a bird feels pressure before breaking out of its shell, your spirit feels discomfort before it is released into new growth. That feeling is not random, it's sacred. Sometimes your soul outgrows your surroundings. You start realizing that certain habits, people, or routines no longer align with your heart. You crave deeper meaning, quieter moments, and closer connection with your Creator. This is not confusion, it's transformation. Allah is rearranging your inner world to prepare you for the blessings that require a stronger, purified version of you. Think about how the Prophet Muhammad DFA would retreat to the cave of Hira before revelation. That solitude was not an escape, it was preparation. His heart was being readied for the immense responsibility ahead. Likewise, when your soul feels restless, it means Allah is calling you to leave behind the ordinary and walk toward the extraordinary. He's saying, "You can't stay here anymore, there's more for you beyond this." Instead of fighting that restlessness, learn to listen to it. Sit with it, pray through it. Ask Allah to show you what He's teaching you through that inner shift. The discomfort you feel is not the absence of peace, it's the process of finding a higher one. Spiritual restlessness is not a curse, it's a calling. It's the soul recognizing that Allah is moving you from comfort to conviction, from routine to purpose, and from who you were to who you're meant to become. As Allah prepares you for a bigger role, something profound begins to happen inside you. Your intentions shift. The things that once motivated you no longer hold the same power. You start losing interest in recognition, applause, and praise. You stop seeking the spotlight and begin to seek sincerity. The desire to impress people fades away, replaced by a quiet longing to please Allah. This is one of the clearest signs that you're being spiritually elevated. You begin to feel called to serve, not to shine. When Allah refines your heart, He removes pride and replaces it with purpose. You realize that real success is not measured by how many people see you, but by how many hearts you help for His sake. The ego wants attention, but the soul wants contribution. True greatness is not in being known, it's in being useful. Allah chooses humble hearts to carry His work, not loud ones. The ones who quietly serve with sincerity are the ones whom Allah honors in ways unseen. When you look at the lives of the prophets, you'll notice that every one of them served before they were known. Prophet Musa A.S. served his people before he faced Pharaoh. Prophet Yusuf A.S. served in the prison before he ruled in the palace. Prophet Muhammad DFA served his community with kindness long before revelation came. Their elevation came through service, not status. The heart that truly understands its purpose doesn't crave to be admired. It craves to be accepted by Allah. You begin to realize that the light you carry is not meant to make you shine, but to help others see their way. When you serve, your reward is not in the hands of people. It's written with Allah, and what Allah writes for you is far greater than what people could ever offer. So when you feel that shift, when you stop caring about being seen and start caring about being sincere, know that Allah is transforming you. He's preparing you for a role where humility will protect you, service will elevate you, and sincerity will sustain you. The true servant doesn't need a stage. Their heart is already lit by divine purpose. That's when you know Allah has called you to serve, not to shine. When you look back at your journey, the delays, the tests, the isolation, the closed doors, the restlessness, and the quiet transformation, you'll realize that nothing was random. Every moment was a thread in the divine design of your destiny. Allah was never punishing you. He was preparing you. He was building your patience through waiting, strengthening your faith through hardship, purifying your heart through solitude, guiding your steps through redirection, awakening your spirit through restlessness, and humbling your soul through service. Every trial you faced was a whisper from the Almighty, asterisk, I am not done with you yet. I am preparing you for something greater. Asterisk, when you understand this, your perspective on life changes completely. You stop questioning the process and start trusting the planner. You stop chasing what's next and start appreciating what's now. Because you know, even in silence, Allah is working, even in pain, He is present. The believer's life is never about reaching the destination quickly. It's about growing through every stage beautifully. The storm you thought would destroy you was actually the rain that helped you grow. The delay you feared was the doorway to something far better. The isolation you hated became the space where you met yourself and your Creator again. So, my dear brothers and sisters, don't be discouraged when life feels uncertain. Every challenge, every delay, every shift is a sign that Allah is investing in you. He sees something in you that you may not yet see in yourself. Trust His timing even when it doesn't make sense. Because one day when everything unfolds, you'll look back and say with tears in your eyes, asterisk, now I understand. Every step, every pain, every silence, it was all part of Allah preparing me for a bigger role, asterisk.